this is much more clearer, okay? Where this is actually a joint statement between Russia and China, where they advocate a multipolar world, and Russia and China undertake and call on the international community to adhere to the following basic principles in their relations with one another. Number one, maintaining open trade, okay? Maintaining sovereignty of different nations, maintaining decision-making through consensus, okay? Primarily the United Nations, maintaining authority of the UN, and respecting the civilizations of each different nation state. So refusing to prioritize one civilization over another. All right, so this is something that both Russia and China agree to. Now, this is actually a much better translation of President Xi's words about the multipolar world, okay? So let's read it together. The world today is far from tranquil. Unilateralism and hegemonism are doing grave harm, and the world faces the danger of sliding back to the law of the jungle. As permanent members of the UN Security Council, China and Russia must firmly carry out the mission and responsibility of major countries, defend the authority of the nations, international fairness and justice, oppose all unilateral bullying and acts that turn the wheel of history backward, and especially oppose all provocations that negate the victorious outcomes of World War II or that seek to reverse the verdict on and summon back the spirits of fascism and militarism, jointly pushing for the building of a more just and reasonable global governance system, okay? All right, so this is a lot of words, but I will emphasize certain takeaways. First of all, what President Xi is saying is that there were three major winners of World War II. The United States, Russia, and China. And we must ensure that these three nations who won World War II are still in charge, okay? Okay, this is really important to understand. First of all, US, Russia, and China are allies, not enemies, right? Because right now a lot of people think that China and the United States are in competition to rule the world, and President Xi says, no, that's not true. We're allies because we won World War II together, all right? Second, he sees the real enemies as those who are trying to overturn the World War II order. And those nations, of course, are Japan, Germany, and Israel. And the last thing he will point out is that all unilateralism and hegemonism are bad, okay? If you act by yourself and you declare war against other nations, that's bad. So obviously, the United States attacking Venezuela is bad. Obviously, the United States attacking Iran is bad. But what about Russia attacking Ukraine? Well, according to this framework, this is also bad. Okay? According to this logic of what he said specifically, this is also bad. So it seems as though China and Russia are best friends and they will unify against the United States together. But this statement reveals that actually things aren't as simple as they seem. All right? Also, what's important for us to understand is that, yes, there are many areas where China and Russia can work together, but the cooperation is not going as smoothly as one would imagine, okay? So let's look at some examples. First of all, the economic cooperation between China and the United States, it is booming. What's happening is that China needs a lot of energy and resources from Russia. So you would think that they would build the infrastructure as soon as possible to make this trade as smooth as possible, right? Especially with this war going on in the Middle East, blocking China's access to the Middle East energy. But, and the main pillar of this cooperation is something called the Power Side Barrier 2, okay? As you can see, it extends all the way from the north of Russia to Shanghai. It's a huge project. And everyone has assumed that at this meeting, the first thing that they would accomplish is signing an MOU an agreement to build this pipeline, and they have not done so. And a lot of it is because China does not want to become too dependent on Russia. Because obviously if you build this pipeline, then you must buy a lot of energy from Russia. But they want to still negotiate over the price as well as the volume, okay?